Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun, so how are we doing today? Today we're actually going to be working on Project Sidewinder some more, and if I sound a little different, it's because I got my new microphone. Hopefully everything sounds okay, and hopefully everything is okay. Playing with a lot of settings today, so hopefully something doesn't explode in my face. But yes, today we're going to be working on Project Sidewinder. Most notably, we're going to be making planes. We're going to make a lot of planes. There's going to be a lot of planes, a lot of planes, because that's just something we gotta do if we want to make this work. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, because it's going to be a lot of me sitting and looking at a piece of paper for a while, because that is what we're at right now. Unfortunately, this is kind of the what needs to be done more than anything. And because this is what needs to be done, we just gotta do it, and it's gonna be kind of awful. However, there have been some major changes. Notably, I did fix some of the wording here to make it a little bit more precise. We scroll all the way down here. Obviously, we have some of the combat sections. I kind of went over there last time. One big thing I did was add in a lot of these notes. Notable ones include altitude, what you can actually do to make a safe landing, speed gain and loss, kind of how speed gain works. Pretty much the entire concept is that the faster you're going, if you go over your maximum speed, you're going to have to pay. Notably, you're going to have to pay your handling. And if you are over your speed and you can't or don't want to pay that handling, you're going to take damage. And that damage is going to be pretty bad. That kind of also doubles for the action combo system. One thing I was noticing during kind of a playtest with myself more than anything is that there were a lot of turns where it was just like do an action, they do an action, do an action, they do an action. So I put in a system to allow you to pretty much combine actions together. And I'm hoping that actually kind of mitigates some of the major problems, where it allows the player to kind of string together things such as like, oh, I want to make an ascent. And while I'm making an ascent, they are within range. I'm going to shoot them while making my ascent. Pretty simple. Nothing too exciting in that regard. Lock-on is also pretty standard in that regard. As long as you are 180 degrees in front of you, as long as they are in front of you, roughly, lock-on holds. The big thing is that you can able to add all your brain tokens to your cannon attack rolls, which if you have high brain and kind of low offense is good, because you can actually hit people, because it's kind of another thing I was noticing quite a bit, was that people weren't hitting consistently. They were hitting pretty, like, it was the sample fight, it was a lot of hits, a lot of things very slowly, which did work because you take one damage and suddenly things started going a little bit wrong. Then we have all our actions. None of these really changed. I did put the maneuver list down here. Nothing changed. It's literally just a copy paste from the one up above, but it was there just to like, hey, this is what you kind of got to do. I should say, actually, I should say cost, because you clearly explained here maneuver resolving its effects, and yeah, you can pay technique or handling. We also have this. Pretty much how it goes is you're going to lose max handling as well as your max speed, which does kind of reduce everything by 1. You take light damage, you're going to have some problems. The big thing is hard points, where let's say you take 2 sets of missiles. You take damage, you're going to lose possibly 1 set of your missiles. You're going to lose your cannon. You're going to lose something you have. That gets to things such as being a serious damage, where 2 of your hard points are out now, or critical damage, which everything is damaged, and it's just completely unusable. Which I should actually put down, if a hard point is damaged. If hard point is damaged, the... something. Okay, good. Hard point is damaged, the... resource or hard point, the hard point itself cannot be used. Pretty much along the idea of, if you take damage, you're going to start losing things, and if you lose things are going to go bad, and etc. etc. Yeah. Actually, we can put this right here, and then there we go. This also led to the pilot injury mechanic and loss of control. I put these as optional rules because they felt a little bit wonky. So I'm like, probably making these optional would be best. That's just kind of my thinking on the matter. Every day I look at my server and question why are you all the way that you are? But yeah, no, that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask, because yep, that's it pretty much. So these are going to be our planes. Now I did write up what a standard light plane, a standard medium plane, and a standard heavy plane are roughly gonna look like. Are they perfect? Of course not. I can't find like a perfect list of every single plane ever created by mankind, and even then, there's only so many variations of plane you can make. You can only say this is a plain flavored plane until you realize that there's, well, they're planes. Water. Gotta love my water. Gotta love that water. I'm a hydro homie, as they might say. My friend keeps saying that, and since I am in fact a boomer, I'm gonna repeat it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on today. Roughly speaking, these are what I'm looking for. I'm looking for about 5 lights, 10 mediums, 5 heavies, and 7 specialist planes. So, are these going to be perfect? No, I'm just going to be kind of using this as kind of like a baseline for things. Because, like, just kind of give you a USA Jets 1980s. There are a lot. There are a lot of these, and kind of like trying to piece together everything is a little bit complicated. I also used, let me see. This is Mercenary Air Squadron. Right here. And see, I need to go to, where are you? Appendix A. These are all the basic planes that I could find from Mercenary Air Squadron. So this is kind of going to be something that we're going to be relatively consulting, simply because it's easy. And as you can kind of see, a lot of these are fairly standard. There are not a lot of like big differences outside of things like hard points. So kind of I thought like probably adopting a kind of a baseline would be best. So if you have any suggestions or have any planes you'd like to see, tell me. One big thing about this is that a lot of these are, it's like, oh, chaff and flares. Those are going to be equipment, so actually what I should do is bump up the hard points. I'll probably bump up the hard points by about 2. Yeah, so it'd be about 4, 6, 7. Something like that. Max speed, I did find out 6 was a pretty good amount. In just traveling in inches, you don't realize 6 is pretty good, but you can also go faster, in which case this is a little bit more valuable. I like things like handling. Defense was, if you have a few points of defense, you're pretty good. So standard lights tended up being the kind of the big thing there. So these are our basic ones. The Link 16 and the Mag 22. As you can already tell, these are a little bit different, but they also have a little bit different stats. You know, max speed, handling is a little bit lower, max speed's a little bit lower, but they have a little bit higher defense. Actually, what I should say is I'm going to give them a little extra hard point. So these are going to be our kind of our basic planes. So let's see, like I believe I based the Link 16 off the F5 Tiger, then the MiG-21 fish bed. So we'll call it like a Mag 21, Mag 22. There we go, Mag 22 Comrade. And we're going to call, these are going to be our mediums so far. So I'm just going to mark this right here as a medium. Kind of give us a good indication, good indicator, you could say. Man, people are really mad about the Dark Souls game, and I don't know why people are surprised. Like, I genuinely don't know why anyone's like, oh my god, how could the Dark Souls role-playing game be bad? Like, no fucking shit, you dumbass. Of course it's not very good. Let's F111. Here's how our basic naming scheme is going to go, just for my own fucking sanity, is that the Northern Federation is going to be cat names. The SSP is going to be variations of mag, or let's gonna be mag or SF. Actually, it would be. Let's see. We want them to be vaguely communist, so we want these to also be Stukov, so STs. Mag or ST is gonna be our big ones there. Naming schemes is pretty easy. Like honest to God, naming is pretty easy. So let's see. The People's Republic of Zune, the PRZ, they're going to be mostly city names. Damn, the new mic sounds sad. I don't think people quite realize that this is just kind of how I sound sometimes. Yeah, I'm trying to find the ideal setting for things because the old one, the problem with the old one is there was an electric buzzing that would slowly build up over time. And as it slowly built up, you could hear him just be a constant noise, which was driving me nuts as I tried to record anything. It was impossible to record anything because of that noise. And it was a mic issue, so it's kind of like this. I can try to kind of fix the bass, I should say, the bass. It's kind of like, how do we do it? How do I do things? And I also speaking a little bit quieter right now because I'm just kind of trying to vibe a little bit. So that might be something with it. I'll see if I can't fix some settings. My friend's an audio guy. He's like, yeah, it sounds fine. So welcome to ASMR. Oh yeah, hello, Manly. Right now we're going through how to name planes. Like, the weird thing was that the microphone is tied to my headset. The original one, which it is clear, it's just there's that constant hum of things, which if it was a constant hum and everything was fine, then it could be one thing, but it was possibly another thing, possibly a third thing. So there was a lot of maybe, if, and, or buts. That was kind of the issue. A lot of maybe, if, and, or buts with that one. Yeah, yeah, no, it's like trying to get everything to sound correct is a little bit wonky. I spent like an hour with my friend going through various filters trying to make everything sound relatively okay. But yeah, I think it works. If I ever need to be a little bit quieter, I can just adjust it upwards a little bit. Because I got one of those fancy standers that you little microphone arm. Because I'm a real gamer. So let's see, PZRN, Imperial Nippon is probably going to be. Do they actually have any Japanese planes in here? European Consortium. Actually, I should put in Central's planes are going to be weather effects. For some reason, they have a Swedish plane in here, which I always found funny. Let's see, Badgers, Harrier, HLL, Tejans, Frogfoots. So, Japanese fighter jets. Mitsubishi, they're going to be company names. Imperial Nation of Nippon is going to be company names, and then XX. There we go. So medium aircraft. So these are roughly our mediums. Pretty standard stuff. And we're going to now need to do, we're going to make another mag. We're going to do the mag 17, which is going to be a, oh, what do we call it? What's going to be an accurate name for it? Mag 17 top hats, SSPs. We're going to make these 30. We're going to have a lot of hard points. Speed's going to be a little lower than normal. Handling is going to be fairly average. Defense is going to be a little bit average. Not going to have any electronic warfare. It's not going to have any ECM. It is going to have a light cannon, however. So the idea being that it has a lot of hard points. You can slap a lot of stuff on it, but it's kind of slow for what it's kind of supposed to be doing. Then we need to do, we'll call it a Bobcat 20, Bobcat 23, Northern Federation services. We're going to make this worth 40, and we're going to give them 5 hard points. Hello, phone. We're going to make a max speed of, let's give them max speed 7, handling, make the handling a little bit higher than average. Defense is going to be average. ECW is going to be pretty good. ECM of 1, and it's going to have a light cannon. The Neko 69. That's a cursed name. However, generally, I'm aiming for about 27 plans. So I'm trying to just to kind of like figure out like what would be the best. Let's do. We could probably add in a SU 24, and we'll call it a Jinx. SSP is going to cost. Let's see. SSP is going to be a relatively expensive plan. It's not going to have many hard points. Speed is going to be a little bit, about average. Handling is going to be a bit lower than average. I'm going to have a little bit higher defense because I want kind of the SSPs to have a little bit higher defense. Low ECW, ECM, and it's going to have a medium cannon, so it can shoot twice. That's the big thing with medium cannons, is that they can shoot twice instead of just once. Which is going to bring up the, let's get one more NFS in, just to even amount, which we can call that a, what's a large, give me a large cat. I make great pets. Nope, I need actual, like, give me big cat breed, Give me, those aren't, I don't think calling something a coon is going to go very well. I'm just going to be honest with y'all here. Don't think Coon 23 is going to be a very good one. So let's call it the fuck is a Toiger? We're all to breed domestic short-haired tabbies to make them resemble a toy tiger. That's a Toiger, everybody, right there. Welcome to Toigers. Yeah, that's, you know what? We'll add that in. We'll call it a Toiger. We'll call it a Toiger 2 NFS. They're going to be dirt fucking cheap. They're going to have no hard points. They're going to go relatively fast. We're going to have pretty shit handling. They're going to have 0 fucking defense. They're going to have we'll give them 1 ECW, 1 ECM, and they're going to have no fucking cannon. The Toiger is a 20, it'll be about, like, what I'm aiming at for the money amount is to be about, like, $1 is more like about 100, that more like $10,000. So the 30 here is actually more along the line of like 300,000 USD. Or AFD, because it's the Altus Union. ASD would be AUSD, would that be it? I wrote this down, mind you. I just chose not to remember it. Let's see. I'm still debating on whether or not to download one of the new Gundam games. It is 33 gigs. I want to download the Gundam game, but 33 gigs is kind of a hard bargain. So yeah, to kind of give you the idea of how cheap this thing is, this is $100,000 less, and these things are supposed to be shat out, and you load them up with a bunch of missiles and you pray. You do nothing else with the Toiger. You have missiles, or you are defending Toigers. Actually, no. Let's give them a stupid amount of hard points. Reduce the speed by a little bit. Reduce the handling down a little bit. They can just put missiles and bombs and shit on them. They have barely any defenses if you're not with it. So let's see, because these things are supposed to be mediums. We can add in, so actually we'll do PRZ, the People's Republic of Zune. The PRZ, how do you name things? By city names. Random Chinese city. Give me a random Chinese city. We're going to go whoop. Fuxin. Fuxin 99. Actually, it would be we'll call it the 80. Fuxin 79. People's Republic of Zune. Cost is going to be 30. Pretty standard pricing. Hardpoint, let's actually just copy and paste the standard assortment and edit from there. We're going to make them a little bit faster. They're one of the faster planes. They're going to have a lot less hard points, but they're going to be able to... They're going to sacrifice a little bit of handling. They're going to sacrifice defense in exchange for ECW. 2 ECW. Give them a light, and I think give them a medium cannon would be... I think that's fair. With the idea of... But, like, what is their purpose? We gotta ask ourselves, what's the Fuxin 79 designed to do? The Fuxin 79 is relatively fast. They don't have, like, as many hard points as other ones. They don't handle as well as other ones, but they do have some ECW. So you're probably going to want to put a few missiles on these things, but always get behind your enemy. You should always be engaging at different angles, because just how fast you can go. You're very offensive. The problem is, if you do ever get caught out, you're not going to have a good time. Let's bump up the cross to 35 to compensate that. We'll do I'm calling it Central's weather effects. Random weather effect. Random weather. We'll say it autumn, rare. Yeah. Notepad, you must write at least a page of technical documentation for every plane, or something terrible is going to happen. See, that would be the true autism play. See what we can do. Actually, we'll call this the thunderstorm. Call this the Thunderstorm AA. This is going to be It's going to be part of the Centralsian Union. These things are going to be pretty, like, the big thing what I want to get across with all the Centrals ones is that all of these are on fucking, like, discount, because Centrals exploded and everyone hates Centrals. They're pretty reliable. The thing is, what I want to get across is that these are probably the most reliable planes you're going to get. The problem being is that they are literally designated as the de facto bad guy of reality, and everyone who sees them are like, yeah, you bought a fucking plane from the former Nazis. Like, you're maybe not the best person in the world. Let's increase that handling to 6. Reduce max speed by a little. Reduce hard points by a little bit. Let's give him a little bit of that, but no ECM. They have no countermeasures. But the thunderstorm is pretty good in that regard. Let's see. Let's give the Japanese. What am I calling the Japanese? That's the question. Centrals, NAU, Free Republic of Zune, FRS. Technically, this should be not the People's Republic of Zune. This should be the FRZ, the Free Republic of Zune. Very different. Which leads to Imperial Nation of Hokai, INH. Or we'll just call this the HIH, the Imperial Hokai. God bless the Hokai. Which we're going to. They're going to be named after their company names. So what's a random? Give me a random Japanese name. Random Japanese name generator. We'll just slash this one a few times. There we go. The Hachiro. The Chiro Type 44, and it's going to be Imperial Hokai. Because I just want to say Hokai. We also need a Warthog type plane. Warthog type plane. What do you mean by a Warthog? Oh, you mean like a Thunderbolt A-10? Subsonic attack craft. See, I still have light craft and heavy. This is just the mediums, mind you. These aren't like the standard lights. Like, these aren't light aircraft and these aren't heavy aircraft. So I'll probably put them in there. Because I wanted to give everybody at least a little bit of representation, all of the various nations of the world. So, what is going to be your gimmick? Imperial Hokai is going to be a little bit more expensive. But they're going to be a lot more to... They're going to be very reliable planes. That's going to be their big thing. Actually, no, wait, wrong one. Their gimmick is going to be heavy reliability. Kind of at the cost of being decent. There we go. 111. Do we have any 5.5s? 5s across the board? No. You're also going to get slapped with a medium. These are the ones for sale. That's kind of like the idea being like, these are the ones that are things you can buy and sell. That's why getting like the Altus Union. Cherno plane, 9 in all stats. You're not getting the Cherno plane. This, no Toho references. No toot toot. Does remind me I need to put it's the New Altus Union. The NAU, New Altus Union. How are they going to name their planes? We want something completely asinine. Because the Northern Federation of States is like, picture the entirety of Sweden, pretty much picture everything in Northern Europe combined into one nation. That's how the NFS looks. And there. So let's, what would be a good way of naming? Need something silly. We need something that is like very clearly like as technical as possible. Overly technical. Actually, well, we can. This is what everything else is based off of. Actually, well, if we want to make the big joke, this will be the big joke. Is that these are the standard. All the standard are the Altus Union guys. They're pretty reliable in that regard, simply because these are the bare fucking minimum. Perfectly okay at their job. Nothing good, mind you, just perfectly okay. Just Google Norse folklore or use Finnish. Let's see. Actually, Baja. We'll call it the Baja. Actually, no. Um, the whiskey. We'll call it the whiskey. Whiskey. Yeah, let's call it the whiskey. Like, let's give them alcohol names. The NAU exclusively uses alcoholic beverages, so it's a whiskey. Yep. So these are our standard planes for organize you fast, just so we don't got. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. The exact number I want. So we've got our mediums. Now we get to worry about our lights. And if you thought the Toiger was bad, don't worry, it's going to get worse. So this is going to be our light aircraft. We're only looking for about 5 light aircraft, and we're going to probably give them. It's going to be the SF, correct? That's how I named it. The ST. ST-24. This is going to be the ST-88, which is going to be simply known as Bumble. It's the Bumblebee. Bumblebee. The Bumblebee is going to be obviously the Soviet People's Republic, obviously, or the state. It's the Soviets. What is it? The southern state of the people. That's a cost. These things are going to be a little bit more expensive. We're gonna call this about. We're gonna make this thing real fucking expensive. This is something that you shouldn't have. But the problem is, it's going to only have 3 hard points. Its max speed is going to be 10, however. You can move 10 inches on a map. Like, you can outpace any of these mediums by a long shot. You also have handling of 2. You are going fast. You do not have any defense. You have no ECW, you have no ECM, and you just have a light cannon. You are a fucking nightmare speed demon that is going to explode, most likely. Actually, we can give you, we'll price you at 40. Then we need a cat. Actually, let's do, I need a cat. Cat breeds. Let's do cat breeds. Persians, short hairs, folds, Russian blues, Burmese, Bombay, Oriental short hairs, bad cats, wire hair. Yeah, call it a Rex. Call it a Rex 33. Rex 33 NFS. It's going to be cost at 35, and it's going to have 4 hard points. Its maximum speed is going to be 8. It's going to have pretty good handling. It's going to have a single defense, no ECW, no that, and light. A little bit there. Not like Bumblebee, let me just literally sprint across the map and avoid all my problems. Because the big thing here is that since it can go so quickly, since this thing can go so rapid, it can very easily ignore a lot of the handling penalties that it normally would have. So it's just allowed to go really fucking fast. But if you're going too fast and you exceed that speed somehow, you're going to explode. And everyone's going to laugh at you. Let's see. Let's give Imperial Hokai. The Nekomata. We'll call it the Nekomata. Nekomata type. Type 85. Nekomata type 85. Imperial Hokai. It's going to have a standard cost of 30. It's going to have standard 5 hard points. Because again, we are reliable here. 8, it's going to have a standard 5 handle. It's going to have a standard of 4. Well, actually, we're going to reduce the speed. You're only going to go 7. You're going to have a good solid handling of 6, a defense value of 1, 1 ECW, 1 ECM, and a light cannon. So you're a little bit slower than average, which does remind me what I should do. The standard light, which we're going to call it bourbon. Actually, no, we can call it the vodka, the NAU. Cost is going to be 30, hard points 5. Which we can probably add in one for the Centrals have one. No, Centrals would of course not have one. They are literally suicidal Germans. They are literally the best way to summarize the Centralsians is picture Germany, picture the entirety of Eastern Europe, picture them smashed together with an intrinsic desire to kill themselves. And they did, repeatedly, because that's the lore, is that they dropped nukes to stop the Centralsians. They dropped multiple nukes because they wouldn't stop. That's why everyone's like, being a mercenary is kind of spooky, because we don't want another war, because we don't want to drop nukes on each other. Which we can probably do. I'm feeling... give me a random Chinese city name. We'll scroll up. We'll call it the Zhangyang. Zhangyang. The Zhangyang. We'll call it the 110. The Federal Republic of Zun. These things are going to go up. I'm feeling... These guys' gimmicks are pretty big on electronic warfare. So they're going to have pretty decent hard points. They're going to be going the right amount of speed. They're going to have a little bit less handling than normal. A little bit defense. They're going to have 2 ECW. No ECM, though. They're going to have a light cannon. So those are going to be our basic lights. Like, I want to keep things as simple as physically possible when it comes to a lot of these. That, and then we're going to do heavies. We don't need you anymore. Does remind me we need you. What would be a good one? So let's see. We got whiskey. We got vodka. The tequila, 7 hard points, big old shithead. Tequila's a big old bumble. Let's see, we need a random weather effect. The Ghost Storm. We're going to call it the Ghost Storm. The Ghost Storm for Centrals. And those get Centrals. One is going to be, it's going to be worth about, we'll say 35. 8 hard points, 5 speed, 4 handling, 2 defense, 0 there, 1 there, and it's going to have a heavy cannon. The problem is with a Ghost Storm is going to be very simple, is that it is literally a plane designed for nuclear warfare. Because they got nuked twice and they kept fighting. The best way, like, all of these are still kind of clearly jets. That's kind of the idea. These are clearly jets. But the big thing is when it comes to like this speed, this is how many inches you're moving. Like, you can be moving very, like, these guys are not moving very fast. Especially when it comes to like the tequila. The tequila's entire job is to have a shit ton of missiles, sit back, and pepper you. 3 defense is quite a bit, actually. Because kind of the idea, which you gotta kind of put in your headspace a little bit, is to actually hit you with my cannon. To actually do any damage to you, I need to put up 3 tokens saying that I can hit you and use my cannon token. If you have any amount of defense, you can match them very easily. Pretty much a heavy crafter going down if multiple people are after you. And even then, it's going to be kind of hard. They're going to be expending a hell of a lot, and then you're going to always have more shit to work with. This isn't even counting things like, I have chaff, I have flares, I have, I have the bomb. Like, actually, we need to do the NFS. So the NFS are usually referring to what is the biggest, largest cat breed. Not the coon cat. I do not want that. Largest, tiger. Not. You're in here, Manly. You gotta suffer with me. Let's see. So subfamily, geez, Panthera. Yeah, it'd be panthers. Not felines. The biggest, stupidest cat I can find. Lion, snow leopard, tiger, Neophilis. Jaguar. Lion. Yep, there we go. That's going to be our warthog. The lion won. The lion won. NAU. Cost is going to be 55. It's going to have 8 hard points, maximum speed of 5, 5 handling, 5 defense, actually 4 defense, no, none of that, and a heavy cannon. So we're going to reduce the speed down to 3. This thing is a giant walking death machine. It's going to have a shit ton of things on it, and it is literally designed to drop nukes. Yeah, the lion won. See, if I really wanted to, I could put in the, you put in the tiger ball. No, I'll make that a specialist class just for you. Let's see. Imperial Hokai got one. UNAU Centrals has one. I guess I can put in... Who hasn't been represented? Actually, we can do another Centrals one. Not autumn, we'll do summer. There we go. The hurricane, obviously it's going to be a Central vehicle. It's going to be worth 4. We'll say it's going to have 7 hard points. It's going to go a little bit faster, a little bit less handling than normal, than it really should. Actually, we're going to reduce the speed down even further, something like 4. 4 is going to have that. It's going to be, however, a goddamn tank at 5 defense. 3. It's going to have 3. Let's say 3 ECW, 0 ECM, and it's going to have a light cannon. This is for locking onto things and then shooting a lot of missiles at it. And then we can probably throw one. We'll throw in another one. Let's there Where's a good one? Jinyo. Jinyo. The Jinyu, actually we'll call it the Jinyu 44. I think that's appropriate. FRZ. Actually, wait, I never put in an SSA one. What would be... This one probably, we'll call it a mag... We will call it a mag 00. This is going to be Czar. And SSP. SSP, these things are going to be worth a good penny. Hard points, you're not going to have that many hard points. You're going to have a decent speed. Handling is what you're going to be pretty much actually, you're going to have pretty garbage handling. Your defense is going to be fairly high. You're going to have decent ECM, and you're going to have a medium cannon. Actually, you're a little bit, you're 20 more. Let's give you 2 more handling. There we go. Like, the Tsar is pretty good. The problem with the Tsar being that it's a... Hi, Chippy. Let's see. Flintstones. For context of the question, I need to know, do Flintstone vitamins give you superhuman strength? And are Fruity Pebbles good? Flintstone gummies do not. But they are they are a good vitamin supplement. This vitamin supplement for the growing boy. Fruity Pebbles suck though. And that is an objective fact. If anyone's like, but Fruity Pebbles are good, and they taste good, and they're... No, you're wrong. I can't believe that you're fundamentally wrong, and you're even thinking that you're in my chat, thinking you're a real human being. Like, oh no, Fruity Pebbles. No, Fruity Pebbles suck. They've always sucked. They were never good. See, these are the questions I get asked. Nobody asked me like, Notepad, why can't you tell me about game design? Or, hey, Notepad, let's talk about the friends of everyone. And no, it's that, or it's like, hey, Notepad, can you, what's your thoughts on writing, homoerotic fiction? It's like, fuck. God damn it. This is... Specialist planes are going to be a little bit wonky because they're literally weird specialist planes that do like a thing well. We are going... Actually, I know what we can do. We can do it, we'll call it the blockade runner. It's literally just going to be called, and this is going to be a Merc one. These things are only going to cost 25. They're going to have 2 hard points. Their maximum speed is going to be 12. Their handling is going to be 6. They have 0 defense, 0, and none. They do not have a cannon. They can just go very fast. They don't even have missiles, really. This is a Merc gun to deliver things. This is you have leaflets. You use a blockade runner to get the fuck out of Dodge more than anything. And let's call it the what would be a good Cossack, the Cossack 0. Cossack 0 SSP. Cost is going to be 40, obviously. I'm gonna say 4 hard points. It's gonna have pretty decent speed, decent handling. It's going to have 0 defense. However, it's going to have 6 electronic warfare and an ECM of 0 and no cannon. Again, this is a gimmick. You have an insane amount of electronic warfare. The problem is you literally have no gun. You have 4 missiles. Make them count. You are a gimmick. For the NAU, Freedom. Actually, we're going to call it the Union Jack, and it's going to be a NAU. It's going to cost you, put you back 30. It's going to have 1 hard point. It's going to have a max speed of 8, handling of 5, 0 defense, 0, 0, and none. This is a civilian plane. This is literally a 2-seat civilian plane, not really designed for combat, but you could use it because no one's going to be able to realize it's a military plane. You can still slap a fucking missile on it if you want. Cursed information, everybody. This is why he asked. Right here. This is why we get the fruity pebble flavored syrup. Favorite dry breakfast. You mean cereal? My favorite cereal? Here's the secret. I actually don't like cereal that much. Actually, I did, but it's like my favorite absolute kind of cereal is Honey Nut Cheerios. I like Honey Nut Cheerios. I even like basic bitch Cheerios. I'm happy. I know back in college, they actually had this. It was like coffee. It was coffee and like chocolate flavored. I had those all the time. They were super cheap. You get like a family pack for them. And that's what I ate. I had them as little snackies. I put them in my cereal in the morning. They were the best. They were the best cereal. I like Cheerios because it may not be immediately obvious, but I am in fact a 50-year-old man. Let's see. Blockade runners or merc vehicles. Oh, actually, we can probably call this the. What would be a good? We'll call it the Scouter. Actually, no. We need to name it like a fucking cat. What would be a really stupid cat name? I'm gonna have to call it this, aren't I? The Floppa 2. Floppa 2, which is going to be an NFS plane. It's not going to cost very much. Actually, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's not going to have any hard points. It literally cannot put missiles on it. It's going to have a good max speed, good handling, 2 defense, 2 ECW, and it's going to have 3 ECM, and it's going to only have a light cannon. You literally can barely defend yourself, but the Floppa 2 is a recon craft. It is supposed to go fast, it is supposed to go low, and be able to actually take a hit or two before dying. And let's see, I think the FRZ should bring one in, which we're going to... Actually, no, let's bring another merc plane in. I think another mercenary plane could be interesting. We're gonna call it a mercenary attack craft, which is going to be the bucket. Yeah, bucket. It's going to be a merc plane. Specifically, it's going to only cost 20. It's going to have, let's see, what's the NAU vodka? Only going to cost 20. This is probably one of the cheapest planes outside of the fucking Toiger. This is the cheapest plane outside of the Toiger, which is barely a plane. It's going to have 4 hard points. It's going to have a max speed of 6, handling of 4, defense 0, 0, 0, 0, and a light cannon on it. The bucket is the bare minimum. You can always probably get a bucket somewhere. These are shitty planes for shitty people. We can probably also have a actually, I know we'll call it a tailspin. Tailspin, merc plane. It's going to set you back about 30. It's going to test about 35. It's going to have, we'll call it 3 hard points. Max speed is only going to be 5. Handling is going to be atrocious. It's going to have a defense of 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, and no cannon. This is a transport craft. This is an inconspicuous transport craft, literally designed to carry people. Because it's a tailspin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We probably bring one more in. And I think we're going to bring a Chinese one in. So let's... These are renamed cities. Mao. Xu. Xu. And Andong. Andong. This is funny to say. This is going to be the new the National Republic of Zune. FRZ, what am I doing? It's going to be the FRZ. The cost is going to be probably about... We're going to make this relatively expensive. I think it's going to be... actually, no, we'll give it 40. It's going to have a decent amount of hard points. It's not going to be, like, super fast. It's not really designed to be super fast. It's going to be pretty good to handle. Decent defense. Decent warfare. Decent ECM. And light. There's going to be one problem with the Andong, and the entire joke with the Andong is that they will literally only sell it to people who are pretty much fully willing and able to slap on the fact that this is a giant plane by this people. You know, this is the "you are a fucking loser" plane, and everyone knows it. Actually, we'll call it the Andong. Andong 25. There we go. Here are all of our planes. Let's just organize them all real fast so they're all nice and pretty. I didn't mean to do that. Stop that right now. Filter. Oh. I never need a... Unlinked form. Unlinked form. Delete the form. Sheet 3. There we go. Perfectos. How many types of aircraft do I have? Let's see. Oats do sound good. We are currently at, let's see, so there are 10 here. 10, 20, 27. 27 aircraft exactly. Spread across pretty much 5. Actually, it'd be spread across Northern Federal States, the Northern Federation States, Free Republic of Zune, Imperial Hokai, the Southern State of the People, Centrals, New Altus Union, and Mercenaries. So about 7 nations, quote unquote. Mercenaries aren't really a nation. They're more like just a loose coalition. So about 27. These ones are meme crafts, and you really shouldn't be buying them. But these are like the actual ones probably going to be buying. Most likely people are going to gravitate toward medium planes most, because these are most well-rounded, and you kind of have a good sense. Light aircraft are usually faster with decent handling. They just have really shit defense and usually nothing else to really work with. They're pretty much trading out speed for just raw ability. As you can see, most of these have like 1 or 2 defense. You have 1 defense. Or then you have the heavy craft, which like the Central's Hurricane, which you cannot go very fast at all, but you have very high defense, so it's really hard to hit you. The problem is, you're very hard to hit, but they can still just keep hitting you. I did resolve it. I went with free movement. And I think I've done it pretty well. So when you see, the max speed and stuff, the speed is based entirely off of inches, or 2.5 centimeters per. So when you see like maximum speed of like 4 here, that's either going to be 4 inches or roughly about 10 centimeters. It's not exact, but it's kind of like the best calculation for the easiest time. Let me swing down here. Yeah, for most combat stuff, I did write most of the combat stuff out. I think combat works pretty well. I did actually run just a sample combat between it would be a Bobcat. It was between a Link 16 and a Mag 17. No, it was a Mag 22. That was it. Mag 22 and a Link 16. I ran a combat between those two. It went pretty well in the Lynx's favor, but the reason it went in the Lynx's favor was very much because it got behind them right away, and they couldn't really shake it, which is what I want. I think like having multiple people at once, I think that's going to mitigate some of the issues, because you're going to have people kind of dodging out of the way left, dodging out of the way right, kind of trying to get behind enemies, but also trying to manage who's on their ass. So it's kind of like a back and forth of, I can be offensive and follow through, or I could try to lean back a little bit. I did aim for a little bit more of the arcadey, kind of like Ace Combat, Project Wingman style of things, mostly because it makes things like bank turns and things like that a little bit more cinematic. Not really like, well, you didn't move exactly 45 degrees correctly, you suck and everyone hates you and I hope you burn in hell. No, I didn't want to do that. So, hopefully it works. According to all known laws of aviation, it does, so. Ow. Ow. Let's see. This does bring me to mercenary arms trade. Right there. So, actually, what did I do for money? Money is based off of an AU dollar, or U dollars. So, after the treaty, many nations opened up their stock for private investment to assist in the rebuilding effort. Many nations still have the most deluxe jets, and deluxe jets still under lock and key. But actually deluxe equipment under lock and key. But those who have many of the many jets find themselves in the open market. For mercenary purchase. Purchasing the jet includes. There we go. There we go. Treating many nations with their stock for private investment for the rebuilding effort. Because yeah, I thought that would be most amusing, which is the idea that people are literally selling off their equipment to repay everything. Yep, I knew this was gonna happen. Zoom in. We don't need you, actually. We're going to delete that column. table properties. Column width, can I do a 0.7? 0.7. Can we use cost, put that. Oh, everything. Not bold. Color back on black. Table alignment. There we go. This should look relatively decent. Not well, but relatively. So, okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a row above. We're going to highlight all of these. We're going to merge the cells, and these are going to be light aircraft. What I should actually do is light aircraft. You're all aerial, aren't you? Why are you all aerial? Why? Lato is life. Make you 14. What I am going to do is all jets. All jets are given a basic assortment of attributes, and let's see, basic assortment of attributes, reflecting their innate abilities, base innate abilities, and yeah. And then we're going to do the cost, which is actually what we can do is, do we want to put this into a separate table? Like, just go down, like, this is what this does, this is what this does. I think that might not be the idea I've ever done. So let's do this just to make sure the table looks correct. Put it down right here. Extend out the effects table. We don't really need that many, but we just need to make sure. Let's see. We're going to do the effect. We're going to do the attribute. This isn't really the right name for it, but it's going to be nation. Nation cost hard points. Max speed handling. Defense ECW, ECM. And then cannon. There we go. Establish the attributes of each thing. So we just want to get across what it is. So attribute description: the nation from which the plane originates from, and then we can list off. Let me just list them off. We have the Free Republic of Zune. The FRZ, Imperial Hokai, Northern Federation States, NFS, the Southern State of the People, SSP, and the new Altus Union, NAU. I'll probably organize these with a little bit more race. We'll do Central's government. Said there's no unified one because there's now a dozen Central's governments, but they're still selling all their shit. Then mercenary companies. Merc. Yeah, pretty much. Free vehicles. cost. The cost in new Altus dollars, U dollars. See, in Altus Union dollars, U dollars. Each each U dollar is roughly equivalent. Equivalent to about 10,000 U dollars. Each U dollar is roughly equivalent to 10,000 U dollars. So, kind of the idea behind this is saying this is not worth $35. This is worth about $350,000. But you're just simplifying it down because that's a lot easier to manage. Let's see, hard points. The number of equipment slots, the number of resources and equipment. The plane, the jet can't actually no. We'll do the plane can be outfitted with, including missiles, bombs, and fuel pods. Max speed, the maximum speed of the plane. Handling, the number of handling tokens. Number of handling tokens the pilot receives when piloting the plane. Events, the base value to hit the plane with a cannon. Hit the plane with a cannon. Pretty much, if you have a defensive 0, if they line you up, they can hit you. Which is something like, as long as they spend their cannon token, they can hit you. So they might put 3 forward, you have to match that 3. So if you have really low defense, just don't get hit. Just don't be in someone's sight, because you're going to get hit. Electronic. Actually, we'll do electronic warfare, ECW. Let's do electronic countermeasures, ECM. The number of ECW tokens the pilot receives when piloting the plane. The base value to lock on to the plane. Lock onto the plane. Actually, the base value to establish a lock on with the plane to the plane. Cannon, ranked the heavy nature, the size and fire rate of the cannon ranked from light, medium, or heavy. And what we're going to do is light has a we'll say a 6-inch. 6-inch actually has 1 fire rate. Actually, each size grants an additional shot from the cannon. There we go. So the idea being that if you have pretty much a heavier cannon, you're going to be able to shoot more consistently. And that means you're going to be able to hit them once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, which maybe will probably allow you to hurt them. Actually, Deluxe equipment under the basic assortment of statistics. Reflecting the innate ability, we do this. That. Make you white on white. We establish everything here. What we can probably do is that. What I'm going to do is, this is for bookkeeping mostly. Instead of managing 125,000 USD and U dollars. Actually, instead of managing 120,000 U dollars, actually it would be U dollars. It's 12 U dollars. It's 12 U dollars. Yeah, that's literally all. It's literally just bookkeeping. Medium aircraft, which we do the medium aircraft, is going to be selecting this. Let's see, is everything going to fit correctly? It's going to kind of fit correctly. So, can I fit the thunderstorm? If I do this, God, we're just so slightly off. Table properties, column 0.9. Table properties will 0.9 do it. We'll do it. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to keep things like relatively consistent looking. None. Why don't I have a why isn't the Toiger in, gimmick ones? Because it's funnier that way. I want you to convince you that it is a real plane. What am I doing? Not cell background, cell border 1 for 1. I want to select light aircraft because it's a little bit smaller and a little bit easier to manage. We do this. We do heavy aircraft, in which we have the funny planes like the Ghost Storm. Or the Mag 00 Czar. Because again, I wanted to get as edgy as physically possible because it's far funnier that way. You are not like just radiating edge. Are you really playing this game correctly? Hey, buddy. Still alive? Center, middle, center, middle. Yeah, we slap an image right there, and that should summarize the aircraft pretty nicely. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do aircraft, which is fairly important in the mercenary mercenary pilot trade, is to know where you can buy your fucking aircraft, which I'm going to do hardpoint equipment. Which this is going to be a little bit more wonky, but it should maintain it relatively easy. Which reminds me, I need to go to Mercenary Air Squadron. Just don't look at the PDF. Just don't look at this. Air to air, the aphids. Range to air target. Dogfight, yes. Okay. Alright. Let's go, gamers. We're going to have to select this. We're going going to select this. This is going to be missile type. Missile type, the nation, the cost. Which is not going to be hard points, but it's going to be max, which is going to be speed. Don't need to worry about handling, which we're going to put in. The damage is going to be important, and we're going to type type. We'll call it the missile name. Now, what this is going to look like, let's just open this up, the HP1 air targets. Yeah, so it's going to be broken down to the radar. So type, let's just do like standard, let's just do like, we'll call it like the AA, we'll call it the aphid. Actually, no, we'll call it the AA toad, SSP. Southern State of the People. Cost is going to be literally 2 per mission, because if you fire off an AA toad, it's gonna. Speed is going to be 6. Actually, we'll say speed is going to be 8. Damage is speed is going to be 6. Damage is going to be 2. Type is going to be a radar 1. As long as you have a radar, you're probably going to get hit by it. Otherwise, notice you need a lock. Or you can call this the, what do they call it? What are the Alamo aim? And we'll name them after. We'll name them the Frog. SSP is going to cost you 1. It's going to be speed 5. Damage is going to be, actually, we'll make you damage 3. Make you damage 2. You're going to be a heat seeker. But the idea behind it is that radar is going to be able to pretty much home in on you as long as you have a lock. Which, as long as you are operating, as long as you are moving, movement is just turning made just by eye or something like an X-Wing game template. It is technically made by eye. However, here's the catch. This is the thing that you kind of gotta know. Is that once you kind of put it down, you can rotate it up to 90 degrees. And I asked a lot of people about this. They said reliably I could eyeball 90 degrees. So it's kind of like the idea of you're facing forward, you end your movement, you can rotate it to the fully to the right or fully to the left, or anything kind of in there. When it says like you can rotate up to 180 degrees, which is literally you can rotate it all the way around to, that. It's 45. I asked people and I got a lot more inconsistent responses. That was the big thing. I got a lot more, well, maybes than like, could you eyeball 90 degrees? Yeah. I'm like pretty constant that I could hit 90 degrees. 45, it kind of became iffy. I'm like, I think I can live without it being exactly 45 degrees. Because like one of the big things too is as long as you are within that kind of 90-degree angle, you can actually spend movement to kind of move in a direction and then keep shifting yourself in various degrees. Technically, what you can do is adjust yourself 90 degrees if you really wanted to. Move that direction, shift yourself again another 90 degrees, and shift it there. Which would be kind of awkward, but the way I'm kind of viewing it, being like, if you want to like shift like 80 degrees, move 2 inches, shift another 80 degrees, and then move, you're still making like a wide turn. You're still kind of making that kind of bigger turn. That's the way I'm kind of viewing it. Is it entirely accurate? Maybe not really. But it's as long as you can kind of get it within there, you can kind of move around. Which, when I was playing it on, kind of by myself, I was able to do it pretty reliably. I think it turned out pretty good. It felt really nice. It was a little bit wonky, but I need to bully one of my friends into helping me out with it. But oh god, it got really hot in my room. But yeah, no, that should be all right. A little bit weird, but it should be okay. Actually, we need the AA Toad, AA Frog. What else do you do? You do like increase the range a little bit. Well, we can actually, what we can do is add another one, and what we will do, we'll call it the timer. Boost up the speed a little bit, because that's like the big thing with missiles too, is that they follow the same rules when it comes to movement, but they can't perform maneuvers. So this is how you get rid of missiles, is that you perform a maneuver. But maneuvers may not be in your best interest, or you may not have any things to do them with. So timer wise, we're going to say this is going to be 2 turns, and we're going to say that it's going to be 1 turn. Kind of like you want to put a frog in somebody's ass so they're close, they're going to do 2 damage, which is going from light to serious if they have nothing, which is pretty bad. If they do 3 damage, it's critical damage. Like, you gotta kind of remember, like, 5 damage is going from light to serious. So it's pretty much 5 damage with no backup, pretty much. None of your, panache. Is light to serious, the critical to annihilation. Like, 4 damage is annihilation. Like, you've just been detonated. So it's like, yeah, maybe that's not the best thing you could do. We will call... Yeah, so we want radar ones to be a little bit more expensive. We can call this the aim. Actually, we'll call it like an aim 1, an aim 3, then an aim 5, which is going to be northern federal states, and we need something obviously hilarious, which is just going to be called the Peanut for the New Altus Union. The Peanut's going to cost 1, going to have a speed of 5, a timer of 2, damage of 2, and it's going to be based off radar. I want to shoot peanuts at you, because that's the funny. 2, 1, we'll do 2, 1, 3. The idea that this thing can go 8, aim 5's pretty good. They have relatively short timer, and they're going to do 3 damage. It's going to be based off of heat. Heat, not het. Heat, radar, heat. Speed, we're going to make these 5, and we're going to make this 6, and we're going to make this 5. Timer is going to be 1. Damage is going to be 2, 2. So we'll make you a damage of 1. Peanuts are very cheap. Actually, peanuts are going to cost $0.5. You can get a full contingent of peanuts if you really want for pretty cheap. And actually, what we can do is dummies. Dummy missiles, which are going only cost 0.25. You can outfit your plane pretty easily with dummy missiles. They're going to go speed 5, timer of 2, damage is going to be 0, and they're going to follow radar. Problem with dummy missile names with kind of dummies is that they're going to be able to follow the target, and you don't know what the hell they are until you've identified them. Until they are in the air, you cannot tell what they are. So if someone shoots 2 dummies at you, you do not know if these are dummies or these are aim 1s, or you don't know if they're going to be... Actually, what I should do, really fuck with people, make them 6. So you don't really know if they're going to be aim 3s, if they're frogs, and because they're kind of fucking with you, it's like, what are they kind of finding? Ugh, excuse me, ma. So those are going to be, actually I should say A to A. A to A, air to air. And then we'll do air to, I think air to ground, which would be a good missile name. Actually, we'll do speed radius. Air to ground. So bomb, rocket bomb. So we're going to call this the, what is some good? 500-pound. So yeah, it's like 2,500-pound bombs. Okay. So we're gonna make, what we're going to do is we're going to make a 500-pound bomb. 500-pound bomba, which is going to be a NAU, the Arsenal of Democracy, otherwise known as the Arsenal of literally anyone. They're going to be pretty cheap. They're going to have a speed of 2, but the speed on here, I should say, is altitude speed. They're going to have a 3-inch. They're going to have a 3-inch radius, actually a radius of 3. They're going to do a damage of 5. Pretty much just going to do a damage of 4, and these are going to be high explosive. High explosive, and they're going to have a 1,000-pound bomb. NAU is going to be cost of 2, altitude speed of 2, actually 2, radius of 6, damage is going to be 6, high explosive. And then we're going to have the 2,000-pound bomb by the NAU, which is going to cost 4 each, altitude speed of 1, but it's going to drop pretty slowly, but it's going to have a radius of 10 inches, and it's going to do 10 damage. High explosive. Actually, this is going to be... No, we're going to make you something like 5 inches. That would be like a 5-inch square. No, it would make you 4 and then make you 5. So like that's a pretty good like radius of just detonating a fucking 2,000-pound bomb on somebody. Yeah, you ain't really gonna survive that. But that's the point. Rocket propelled bomb. Let's see, they called them AIMs. Yeah. AGM2s, which is going to be the NFS. The NFS is going to cost you, set you back 5. Altitude speed is going to be 3. It's going to go pretty quickly. It's going to only have a radius of 1, not very big. 4, and it's going to be armor piercing. Pretty much against vehicles, it's going to do fine. We will call it the Called like a bunker buster. Actually, we'll call it the AGM. We'll call it an AGM for the NFS. It's going to cost you 8 per, and you're going to have an altitude speed of 3, radius of 2, damage 8, and it's going to also be armor piercing. And let's see. We're going to have laser guided. It's going to have air ground, and let's go. What do we call this? We're going to call this harpoon by the SSP, and the SSP is going to have these for 3. They're going to be altitude speed 2, radius is going to be only 1, damage is going to be 3, and it's going to be a laser guided, comma armor piercing. But you can move this when you fire it. That's kind of the idea. Which we're also going to do the AG Lance, which is going to be even more expensive. Altitude speed of 2, radius of 1, damage is going to be 5, and it's also going to be laser guided armor piercing. Let's see, anything other like really radar sights and shit like miscellaneous equipment. Alright. Okay, now we have to do miscellaneous equipment. Misc equipment. In which we get to do this. Thank God for Mercenary Air Squadron. Actually, let's. ATA we already have. ATG we already have. Flares. Nation is going to be Merc. Kind of like the idea, like they're always kind of present. 0.5. Let's do effect. Disrupt. How do we want to do this? Okay. We'll say deploy 2 inches. We'll say deploy 1 inch from plane. Deploy 1 inch from plane. Actually, 1 inch from deploy 1 inch from plane. Missile. Actually, will be a heat missile. Will follow flare instead. And chaff Merc 0.5. Deploy 1 inch from plane. Radar missile will follow chaff instead, which can still be bad because they can still follow you in case you make the wrong call and deploy chaff against a heat missile, or you deploy a heat. You deploy if you deploy the wrong thing, if you don't know what you're actually fighting against, you deploy the wrong thing, it's still going to be following you, which is like, oh well, shit. We're gonna say fuel tanks. It's going to be a Merc, and these are going to cost you about. Are going to cost you about 6. Cost you about 5 each. Long journey capable. Actually, journey capable. And then we're going to throw on afterburners. Merc is going to cost you a 4. Trigger to actually resource token. So what I should do is mark this as resource token, comma, actually resource token period. Because resource tokens go away when they're used. That's kind of the thing. So I need to mark this. Fuel tanks are just like, actually, for Phantom. Look how long. How long can I wait? Battery, approximately 28 minutes. Phantom floor, approximately 28 minutes. So it's MiG 21 flight time. How long could MiGs last in the air? Oh. Fly. Fly much faster than a MiG 21. How long in the air flight time? How long can a MiG-21 fly for? Not how big is it? How long can it stay in the fucking air? That's all I'm trying to ask here. 45 minutes. Okay. Extends travel time. Extends fuel by double. There we go. Weapon rack. Merc. It's going to cost you 6 to put it on your plane. And the idea is take a fire. You know, it's increase cannon. Increase. Actually, no. How do I want to word this? Game plus 2 hard points must be used for weapons. Must be used for A2A weapons. There we go. We want to get across the idea that these can be used pretty reliably. Or any other odd things that we want to do. Extended. This is what, like, external fuel tanks, trainer craft, you know, leaflet pods. Yeah, so it's going to be like, we call them drop pods. There's going to be mercs. They're going to be worth about 2 each, and they're going to be able to be dropped on a location, either containing leaflets, sarin gas, gas or food. It's kind of like the idea of, like, sometimes you just don't know what the fuck are in these things, and they don't want you to know. But if you have, like, a dedicated, like, hey, we're trying to be good guys here, so I'm going to take 2 drop pods, literally designed for me to drop food on and help these people out. Because we're good people like that. It's kind of like a side mission that we can do. This is a complete bonus thing, just to be good people. We're spending money to just help others. Or it's like some kind of a side objective. Or it could be like, yeah, here, take these drop pods. Being like, well, that's going to kind of eat into our, you know, the amount of stuff we have. Being like, I don't care. Do you think I give a shit? Actually, we can do recon, not recon pods. Yeah, we'll call it recon pods. Merc. These are going to cost you 4 each. Deploy recon pod. Engage all pilots. Pilot gain has a base of +2 initiative if combat breaks out. just by the virtue of having a recon pod is like you've already kind of scouted ahead. Let's see, is there anything? Yeah, a lot of these are things like weak AA or like like defensive installations where it's like, you don't really need this. Half pods, defensive gun, tomahawk launcher. We'll call it a spectrum. Spectrum pod, which is going to be a Merc one, which is going to cost you 8. However, plane has plus 2 ECM, and we're going to do a Spectre pod Merc. Also going to cost 8 is plane has plus 2 ECW. We'll do riggings. That would be some other wacky things I could slap on here. Actually. I know. I will make a reference here. Princess Carrie. Princess Carrie Merc is going to cost you 10. This plane is comfortable for a second passenger. Let's see, is comfortable for the second passenger. For a second passenger. There we go. This is literally based off an anime movie, by the way, called The Princess and the Pilot, which you should totally watch because it's really fucking good. Let's see, AAA. Let's see, what else can you slap on a plane to make it do something stupid? Oh, I know. Rail cannon, Merc. $1 million. Fire a rail cannon shot. Fire a rail can. Replace. Let's see. Replace cannon with a rail cannon. The rail cannon. Plus 2 to all. Let's see. Plus 2 to all attacks, and deals 3 damage. Let me see. Actually, what we can do is outfitted cannon. Actually, we can call it we'll call it the exterior, which we'll call it a exterior mounted cannon, which is going to be a Merc thing. It's going to cost you 20 and add an additional cannon shot. Call it training wings. It's going to be a Merc. It's going to catch you back about 8. Pilot will gain plus 2 experience. For actually reduce max speed by 2. Increase handling by 2. Increase handling by 2. There we go. Let's see what some other stupid shit I could possibly add on to this. So Spectrum versus Spectre pods. Let's see. We have. Oh, I know. Make a very subtle reference back to FTL, which we're going. Missiles gain a plus 2 to speed. Hey, actually, missiles gain a plus 2 to speed. Let me think. Actually, ejector pod, Merc. 10, when pilot ejects, when pilot ejects, it will, pilot ejection can occur at any altitude safely. Let me see, is there anything else that I can really think of the top of my head? This is what I always mean by it's always important to kind of get like a good idea of like what's actually here. So actually, I know what we can do. We can do a stall starter. We'll call it a Merc. We'll call it 15. And when plane stalls, immediately gain +1 speed. Kind of the idea that if you ever reach 0 speed by whether it's yourself or your action, you immediately kind of hit yourself and you kind of go back again. Actually, I should say is resource token. Resource token. Resource token. Game plus 4 speed. Add additional cannon slot, reduce max speed. Missiles game. So missiles this combat gain +2 speed. Resource token, which is the idea that you can just burn these resources. Aha. Which I can literally just say this is a resource token. Our pilot ejection can occur at any time. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna do something real fast. I want to got a pretty good amount here. I want to find link 16 right here. This is my link 16. This is Jonas's plane. He flies one of these babies. Let's see, hard points. He's got 4 hard points. Max speed is 6. Handling is 4 out of 4. Defense is 1. ECW is 0. ECM is 1. What I should do is actually increase the price of some of these, but that's kind of a. I should say, I'll say is light. Is cannon light. So this is our basic plane so far. Now since we get 4 hard points, we are going to take. Let's give ourselves a budget of 50. This is going to be our base budget, so it's going to be 50 budget. By virtue of buying the links, we're already down to 20. So we're going to buy, let's say 2 times AA toads. AA toads, because we like those. We don't get many hard points. That's the idea. We don't get many hard points. Oh, smacked my fucking mic. Probably deafened somebody there. Fucking bug flew by. Damn bugs. Got fruit flies. That's why it's always been annoying. Actually, or do no. What I can do is AA toad. Actually, no, 2 AA toads. Actually, no, we'll do 1 AA toad. 1. Actually, no, 2 AA toads. Like those. And he's also going to take a specter pod. So that's 4. He's down to 16. Takes a Spectre Pod, which brings you down to 8. So he has an ECW, technically of 2 right now. That's what he wants to do. He wants to use it. He only has got 8, and he's got one hard point left. He's got 1 out of 4 hard points left. Let's see. We can probably... He would probably take... He is probably going to take a recon pod for 4. So 4, 8, 4. All right. So this is Jonas's vehicle. Jonas's plane of choice is this. He's got a few missiles. He's got some Spectre pods. And he wants to get a lock on you, and he wants to effectively fight. And that's the entire idea. So if we go here to A missiles, I want to get these set up correctly. A missile names. So if we set this up correctly, what we can do there, and we do not this, we select you, we select you, we select everything here. Air to ground, center, middle, black on black. Understand that this is a bomb. Bombs go boom. And then we go here. And then we put in all of our miscellaneous shit. Kind of the idea, like the thing I want to get across is that, like, you have a lot of tools. You never don't have the option to do things. But you just don't have enough space. You'll never have quite enough space or quite enough money. You always need something a little bit more that you probably don't have. Which is something to encourage you to... That's something to encourage you as a player to say, I want to get more shit. I want to take better jobs so I can afford new things. Because the more things I get, the stronger I can become. And I can do things because I'm cool like that. And I want those things. Her. It's a British spelling. Nope. Oh, nope. Back. Back to you, A to Z. No. Miscellaneous. Sending. There we go. This should be fine. This should be okay. This should be okay. We explain the hardpoint equipment and we are good. Base 808 sounding ass. See, this is just what you have to live with. And this is Doomer Notepad report. Hey gamers, this is Doomer Notepad reporting in. Doomer Notepad reporting in 00. Call me Dev1. So, okay. Hardpoint equipment. We're going to explain this now. Military surplus is common enough to justify selling off equipment to mercenaries for the hope profits. Profits. Particularly amoral nations may also purchase said equipment and sell it at a premium to needy mercenaries. All of this equipment is purchased on the assumption. Let's see. All this equipment is purchased on the assumption of being available. If the pilots are knee deep, if pilots are knee deep in the muck, then they may not be able to secure their equipment as needed. Kind of along the lines of like, this is under the assumption that you can always get a hold of it. People can drive up the cost if they want. If they do genuinely feel like, you fucking, yeah. I'll have you know, Manly, that I socked that microphone to kill a fucking fruit fly. And I hate fruit flies. See, the best part is anytime I need to sneeze, I can just go. Boop! It's got a little thing I can hit to mute the mic. It's great. I love it. Oh god, everyone's more of a vegetable fly or a meat guy kind of guy. I mean, I can't say anything. Iro will hunt me down and will hunt me down and find me and force me to eat my broccoli if I don't. So I deny no. I accept and deny nothing. You will never find me. Let's see. Luckily, we don't need to go over the nation again. We don't need to go over the cost. Let's see. Speed. I'm gonna go over speed a little bit. Actually, we're gonna go over altitude speed slash missile and actually slash travel speed. Travel speed. We need to go over the timer. That's kind of an obvious one. Radius. We need. Let's. Damage is pretty obvious. That's how much damage it's going to do. Type is a little bit weird. Type, and is there anything else? No. Two rows. So, hard points. What do you mean hard? I don't need points. Altitude. Speed. The altitude speed is how fast the air to ground weapon will descend when launched. The weapon will always travel downward from where the pilot deployed it. So we'll put travel speed in its own category. So timer, how long the missile will last in the air before either detonating or fizzling. fizzling out. The timer decreases every momentum phase, and the missile will end its turn. And the missile will disappear here at the end of the refresh. Actually, at the end of the momentum phase, when it is actually the end of the next momentum phase on timer 0. So it's pretty much like if it reaches 0, it's like kind of going to end already, and it's going to technically this is going to be turn 1. It's going to move. The next momentum phase will hit 0. That at the end of that momentum phase, it's going to hit. Technically, this is going to travel 15 inches. That's kind of the idea. A little bit wonky, but you will eat your veggies, and you will enjoy it. I do like veggies. I just don't get to eat them as much as I would, as much as I would like to. The radius of damage, the radius of effect, the air to ground weapon will affect when deployed. The epicenter is the central point of the circle. There we go. It's kind of like the idea of like wherever you dropped it, like directly where you dropped it, that's going to be the center. Which is something you don't think you really need to say, but it's always good to say. The type of guidance. The kinds of guidance system the missile has. What you can do is type A2G, type A2A, type A2A. Let's see. The type of guidance this missile has. Radar will affect any plane. Will affect any plane. I will follow the plane until the lock is broken. Heat will follow the plane until it fizzles out. You always need to establish the lock, but once you establish the lock, it's kind of just fire and forget. But usually it's the idea of like heat ones are a little bit more inconsistent. Those are the ones that can be spoofed the easiest. Travel speed is the distance the missile will travel. The distance the missile will travel before during the momentum phase. If it comes into contact with an enemy craft, enemy pilot, or it comes in contact with a plane, it will detonate, dealing damage. We do type A2G, which is the type will be the type of damage and effects the weapon possesses. Effects the weapon has. High explosive deals full damage to soft targets. Armor piercing deals full and half to hard targets. Piercing deals full damage to hard targets and half to soft targets. Laser guided can be directed by the pilot up to the altitude speed up to the altitude speed in any direction. Direction for in action before it strikes the ground. I'm probably going to fix some of the wording here because it's a little bit clunky, but I wanted just to get it down on paper more than anything. But yeah, with all of this done, we are actually doing pretty fucking good. Say so myself. I'll probably do it again. I'll probably fix up some of the aspects of this, but once that's fixed up, we're pretty much good. At that point, all we really need to do, so let's see. Yeah, pretty much what I'm probably going to do is like just do some like simple stuff when it comes to pilot scale combat. I'm probably going to cut the narrative combat system. It doesn't really feel that appropriate. Mercenary contracts in the GM section. That's just going to be like a random mission generator. It's like, this is what you have to do, kind of how it works. And let me see. Actually, I should put in advancement, which is going to be mission advancement. There we go. Mission advancement versus ace advancement. Slightly different. It's kind of the idea. Mercenary contracts in the GM section. GM section is effectively going to amount to, outside again, the mercenary contracts, kind of like what you're supposed to, it's going to be like just like here's some suggestions that I've noticed. Please do this, and this. Keep things consistent, keep things basic. This is a little bit of a weird game. Make sure everyone's involved and really play up some of the more dramatic aspects of things. I think that should work pretty reliably. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll probably be able to finish things on Friday the way things are going. And if things can finish up by Friday, woohoo! If not, probably Saturday will be burnt. Actually, no, Saturday can't be burnt. We're doing a Curious Case then. Probably Sunday we'll have another one just to wrap things up. But yeah, no, this Saturday we are actually doing the Curious Case of franchise games. Oh boy, I'm ready for franchise games, officially licensed franchise games, which I'm going to go over a few games that I am already emotionally disappointed in myself for reading, and you're going to have to suffer alongside me. So thank you all very much. My name is Notepad Anon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you Friday, and then Saturday, because I'm telling you to. So do it. Do it now.